Hi, this is Jess.
And this is Kim.
And we're the girls from I Want to Be Different. Back at it. Back here to chat with you, ladies and gentlemen, about something that God's put upon our heart.
Yes.
So,
we're excited.
Yeah, I'm not really sure the topic.
Well,
different says?
Embracing differences. And Jess brought it up last week, and it was just really good. And we were throwing some things back and forth earlier today that were really good and powerful, and we just wanted to share.
God has brought, I think, each of us from a different background. Kim and I know we haven't really talked about where we came from or what brought us together. I mean, you can see that we do this on lunch, so we work together.
Right.
So everybody thinks that just because you work together, you like each other.
Right. That's good. She preaching already.
To be discussed later. But no, I love the people here. They're great.
Yeah.
But we had actually met each other earlier and working with each other years ago.
We did.
And Kim had a thought about me.
Yes, I did. We were actually talking about it today. I was thinking about it over the weekend, and the fact that when Jess and I first met at work, when I first met her, I was like, this is a bougie white girl, and we laugh about it now, but it was just like, I would never have thought, like we have been talking about, that we would become friends. And so, I mean, you just never know the plan that God has for you, right. And and you have to be open to embrace that. And I think also it took us being sensitive to the Holy Spirit to be able to, hear him say, okay, behold, like, I want to do something different. I want to do something new. Mm-hmm. Are you going to be the ones that allow me to use you for something new? Because I would have this, like you were saying earlier, this wouldn't have been my plan. And not that, we don't like each other, but how you just...
We don't come from the same background.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up more suburb, didn't go to school with an African-American person. I mean, I maybe had one. I mean, I'm just being real.
Right.
I didn't really know, background or anything like that. I just kind of was just surrounded by white people, really.
Yeah.
And so I think my first close encounter was probably with you. And honestly, if I'm being really real, I grew up in a family where my dad is fantastic, but he worked and he gave me almost like a very bad taste in my mouth for not even just any ethnicity outside of us. He just, because he worked with, sometimes you don't work with the best people.
Right.
And that doesn't mean that reflects everyone.
Right.
And so, so for me, it was just like, Kim was my first encounter. You were working as an admin here, and you were fun, And so I thought it was funny when she called me bougie, and I had to ask her what it was.
Yes, that's right. I told her, like, this wasn't behind her back, so I wasn't talking behind her back. I remember I see the picture just very clearly. She was in her office, and I think she was standing up. And maybe I was looking at pictures on your wall or something, and I don't know. And you started explaining something, and just...
the way I was doing it.
Yeah, I was like, do you know that you are bougie? And she did. She said something like, well, what is that?
What does that mean?
Yeah.
I didn't know what it meant. And now I can see it. And I can honestly, I was telling Kim, I can see how I would come across as that even to anyone.
Yeah.
Just, not meaning to, which is funny because I said I didn't grow up. I wasn't rich. I didn't.
Right. That's what you're saying.
I went to Northwest. I hate to mention the name of the school because it's bad. I hate to give it a bad name, but it has a bad name. But I am a strong believer of you can be whatever you want to be and how, and so,
right.
That's a totally separate subject.
Yeah.
But we didn't feel like we were, would probably be really close.
Right.
Friends.
This was not. Like, I'm thinking about it right now, even just our everyday experiences at work during that time. we weren't even focused on a path like, oh, let me ask her if she wants to go to lunch, or you know how sometimes you think like, oh, I want to be her friend.
Yeah, or you could see yourself being that person's
exactly
friend. That
was never. But I think what happened is when God was, well, now we know it was God.
Yeah.
And we both got transferred to the same department at the same time. And it was very weird, because I say that because we had gotten separated, because I moved to a different department. And it was like, I mean, it was probably like 2 or 3 years almost in between that time from when we first met. And then all of a sudden we got moved to the same department at the same time, and we were starting this around the same time. And that, now when we look back on it, it's like God was saying, okay, it's now time for your worlds to collide. And I want to see if you're going to embrace each other's differences, embrace each other, embrace what I'm trying to do through you. And we did. Now that we look back on it, we walked it out. I mean, I look back on our moments of the friendship growing, you know, the conversations we had and how free we were to talk with each other. And we never judged each other, and just so much. And then all of a sudden, like, God was in the middle, and we were just like, okay, in the Bible, we're listening to teachings, and we're just like, seriously, like, what is going on here?
Yeah, I think we were pushing each other
that's good.
to go further. I think we both did. You know, we would hold each other accountable, and we became that it was really a God thing. And I think that God probably puts friends or people in everyone's life that if they're maybe not who you know would expect, but for me, I think that this has, what I wanted to say was this has really opened my eyes. Our relationship has opened my eyes to realize that it's okay if not you know, I mean, we all say, oh, now everyone's so different, everyone's unique, and we say that, but to actually really understand it and then actually to embrace it is a different thing. You can say a lot of things and do a lot of other stuff. So I feel like now I'm interested in people, like I'm, you know,
Black people, she means.
Well, people. I'm not prejudiced. No. Here we go. No, it's really interesting to me just to learn about people, like different even cultures. Just going, culturally, going to get your nails done, like Asians are predominant there, and that's like, what's that? What do they have to teach me? You know, what am I missing that I could learn from them?
That's good. And like you said, your eyes weren't open to that at the beginning,
and so, even my hair, she's done her hair a certain way, and I said, oh, I don't know, I don't know if I could do that, because that's a black girl hairstyle. and you said, well, you could do it, I could do it to your hair. Well, I ended up doing it, and I got more compliments than anything. And I thought, what are we missing culturally from each, you know, that really
opened your eyes.
Yeah, they could teach you and then push you to another level. You know, whether it's a hairstyle or whatever it is.
And I think, you know, for me personally, you know, as a black woman, you know, having you as my friend and knowing that you want to embrace that is like exciting for me. You know, you don't find many people that you can get comfortable with and talk about things in your culture, because it's, I mean, real talk, it's, you know, being in society, black people are considered a minority. And, you know, there are things in our culture that have confirmed that, you know, just the hard things, you know what I'm saying? The hard things that people really don't like to talk about, and sometimes they feel that African American people use that as an excuse. Now, I would say some may, you know, but it feels good to know that someone wants to embrace and learn and know about where you came from, why you say certain things, why you respond a certain way, why your perspective is this way, you know, because that, my culture, being a black woman, that shaped me where I've come from. It wasn't, like you said, a suburb, you know, it was the city of St. Louis, and it was, I didn't grow up with both parents. I had a single mom. And just things that, you know, we were taught. growing up and things that we experienced. It just, because I know, and I want to mention, I know one time we were talking about, and I told my husband about it because it just kind of excited me. We were talking about a certain movie that you've seen, and it had some hard scenes in there. You know what I'm saying? And so when you told me that you actually watched that movie, and what you felt and what you experienced, and when you said, like, Kim, I didn't know, you know, for me, that was like, I don't know, I can't describe the feeling of it, to be able to have somebody that is, you know, is not another, you know, Black person, to say, you know what, that was wrong, you know, that shouldn't have been done, you know. And it's not, I mean, it's just being compassionate, and that's what Jesus was. That's all. It's just being compassionate. It's not saying, you know, that, oh yeah, that was wrong, and those people did this, or those people did that, and you should feel that way.
Right.
All you said was, you know what, that was wrong. And it, like I said, I told my husband about it, because it's for me, I've never had that to whereas I would be able to comfortably talk to I guess like a white friend about that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
right.
You know,
no,
seriously.
and I like how you said that. Jesus had compassion, and Paul talks about how to a Jew he was a Jew's. You know, and I love that, and it kind of gives. We've kind of gotten, I believe, a glimpse of that. If you're open to what God has for you, and whenever you're open, being open to what you're maybe not used to.
Right. That's good. Just because you're not used to it doesn't mean that it's not something that is important to another person,
right,
or that means something to another person, or that, like I said earlier, that has shaped them and has caused them to develop a certain mentality towards things. You know what I'm saying? It's just about, can I say this? Okay. Because we were, before the video started, I told Jess I had just came across this scripture that I had taken a picture of. And of course I don't know what book it's in, because I didn't take a picture of the book, but we'll look it up later. There you go. Those are her famous words, the Bible. But it's verse 7 of some book, and it says, accept one another. Then it says, accept one another, then just as Christ accepted you. So the fact that somebody accepted me, you know, even with you accepting me for who I am and not being judgmental or, you know, just anything like that, you know, and just certain things that I might say or do, you don't say anything like, well, I don't do that. That's, you know what I'm saying? It's just, oh, that's Kim Poe. You know, we're different, but we embrace the differences. And something you said earlier that was really powerful. Oh, goodness.
I'm going to get it later.
Yes, she will. But, I mean, I think it's about, and I hope this is just really, like, helpful, informative to everybody, because it's real. And I think that's what it is. It's real, and it exists. I think the just the cultural differences and the backgrounds and things like that. And there are things that I don't know about, you know, you as well. You know, and why
I said things are like,
it's not just, you know, but we have to be real talk and know that, you know, there were things that were a little bit more difficult for certain cultures. You know what I'm saying? And just to be able to sit and talk to someone about that and not be judged,
be open
or just
to listen
open.
to what they, you know, I was just thinking, just be open to listen to people, because you may think that you know their heart, but you probably don't.
That's really good.
And, you know, just, we all live next to somebody who's not like us, and you really have to be careful not to judge, and really have to be seeking God and just saying, help me, God, help me to learn, you know, why they do that, you know, there's probably a cultural reason for it.
It is.
So
It is.
you just be open to and receptive of people and their differences, you know, because just as much as you think they're different, they think you're different. So
that's true.
It goes both ways. So.
Because now I feel even more comfortable with, like, she doesn't know what I'm going to say. I didn't know. You know what? Because I look at, listen, this is crazy. But I think of, like, fried fish as, like, a black culture thing. It comes from the black culture. Listen, seriously, that's how most I would say some black people think.
Okay.
And so it was funny for me, I felt like, when I went to Jess and was like, you want to go get some fried fish? You know, and that's something that I would normally say to another black person. I'm just being real.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
I didn't know.
You didn't know that?
I don't know.
You accept me? No, but seriously, and how I would talk seriously to another black woman, and sometimes that's it can be different with black women, how we talk to our white friends and how we talk to, like, a black girlfriend. But I talk to you the same way.
I got you.
I have sass with you. I have, like, what did you say?
Yeah, and I think you've opened the eyes, like, of there's other people maybe that work around us, and when they see you with me, and they're of the same, you know, like, they're not, then I'm okay. Like, it's like I'm stamped Kim Poe approval. Like, okay, well, she gets along with this black girl, so she'll get along with you. You know, she gets you enough to, you know.
Jess.
So anyway, it
no,
opens up a whole new world.
That's good. Keep going. I know what you were saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, she'll get me if
because then I can banter with them, or they're talking hairstyles, and it's like, oh, I have, you know, I understand a little bit. Like, Cassie came by the other day, and I said, and I was, like, thinking afterwards, I was like, good Lord, like, I can't believe I just said that to her. But I was like, oh, is that your hair? And
I didn't even hear you.
You weren't there.
Oh my God.
But I was like, oh, good God. And she wasn't offended by it at all,
No,
I don't
she
think.
wasn't.
She didn't.
Yeah.
She was like, oh, no. But it was so cute. And I told her that. But I was thinking about that, like, afterwards. I was like, would I have ever thought I would ask somebody?
That's true. But you know what, Jess? That's good that you bring that up. I mean, it's funny, but I think black women are used to mostly white people asking them that. Is that your hair? But I mean,
I wasn't asking it in that way.
No,
maybe that's what it was.
No. And I think because there is so much that black people do with their hair, I think it just sparks the curiosity. That's all. And it's nothing. And
it's not bad. No. Maybe that's what's wrong, is that people think that they're, like, judging them or whatever. But I think more so, I would say, me as a white person, I'm like, I wish I could do that with my hair.
Yeah, I mean,
you know?
Seriously. I mean, it's good that you said that. I mean, like I said, I think we get used to it. And it's nothing wrong with it. It just sparks the curiosity. Like, wow, how did she do that? Her hair was short 5 minutes ago, and then today it's down her back. You know, tell me, you know, now granted, there are people, if we can real talk, that do it out of, you know, a little bit of spite.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Because, well,
the way they're kind of saying it, or their motive behind it.
Yeah,
no.
there are.
Yeah, I could see
But
that.
I know, and then I know you, that you were just like, hey, that's cool. That's what your mindset was. That's kind of cool. Is that yours? How can I get on board here?
Yeah.
That's more right. So that's basically, you know, no, I think this talk is really, really good. And I think that we could go on for days. We might have a part 1, part 2, part 3, because I mean, when Jess brought it up, it was just like, wow, we do. Let's embrace that. Let's embrace. And I think eventually when we do, we won't see the color.
Yes.
We'll become so.
What God wanted us to be.
Yeah.
He wanted us to. There, you know, no color, no boundaries in a way, and so, and I think we've created them. And I think it's good to have your culture, but I think it's good to share as well.
Yeah.
So
it definitely is. I think this is really good. I mean,
yeah, I hope it helps someone or
a
couple of people,
the nations, the world. You know, because people need to hear that it's okay. We did talk about that it's okay to even talk about it.
Yeah.
Just because you're talking about it doesn't mean like, oh, because, you know, it, and I'm going to say this, hopefully we won't get to 22, okay? Because I am trying to respect the fact that my friend tells me that I talk too much on the video. And she'll give me signs like under the table, like you're doing too much. So tell me when. But maybe I just forgot what I was gonna say. Okay. But yeah. And so we need to get to the place where we can openly talk about these things, and not just be, because I've seen it talked about like on CNN or, you know, the news and things like that, or some talk shows or what have you, and that's great. But I think
God's
as people,
be part of it.
there you go.
Yeah.
I think as people, women of God mainly, that we, like Jess said, God's got to
get
be a
into
part
our
of it.
flash.
Yes.
If we don't do it. Yeah. If we do.
Are you preaching, girl? See, stuff like that. Where if I would have said that to her when she was bougie, she would have been like, what does she mean? Am I preaching? But no, now she just laughs and she's like, and oh my God. And she knows what shout music is. Okay. And please.
I was educated on shout music.
Yes, on shout music. And now she's saying it. So, yeah.
At the appropriate time.
It's never appropriate. But yeah, I think we're done.
We're done.
Yes, we are. And this was wonderful. And I even in this moment, to learn a little bit more about you. That's just confirmation that we're learning about each other every day.
All the time.
Yep.
Yep.
So we thank you for listening.
Yeah.
And check out our nothing.
Just check it out on YouTube or on Facebook at I Want to Be Different. See you later.
Bye.